Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today is the make video for patterns number 6370 and 14421 over on friendshipbracelets.net. I got a little bit nervous going into this one, thinking that maybe it would be more difficult just because it was a little bit weird. But there was a couple features that I hadn't taken into account that actually kind of make this easier. And that basically revolves around that outer pattern, the 14421. And that is, it's every other one. It's dark, light, dark, light, dark, light. That's so easy. So you can pretty much look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's going to have to do something because then, the inner part is somewhat predictable a little bit. I mean, I had to look at the pattern a lot, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't think I really got the segmenting kind of down until the somewhere in the later half of it. But for the most part, it went together kind of cool. And if you are eagle-eyed and you're maybe looking at the pattern, you might actually spot a part where I did it differently. And then I looked at it, I'm like, oh, am I going to have to pull this apart? And I looked, wait, no. All I have to do is just make it do something slightly different a little bit further down. And I was fine. I don't think you could get away with that all the time, but because it's mostly two colored, just with the exception of the one on the outside, there are parts of this that could actually be kind of tailored to make it just a little bit easier, perhaps. But yeah, yeah. I don't know what to think of the pattern itself. I got the bracelet here, right? From a distance, see if I go closer, it's going to lose its focus. I think it's kind of neat. I can't put my finger on why it's just strikes me as being so interesting. It's possible because it keeps changing. One, the outside part is every other. The inside part is every third. And as a result, the different the shapes do that kind of hieroglyphic thing again, except for this time, instead of being more or less hieroglyphic, it looks more Native American almost. Like if I had picked colors from like the, I don't know, I guess it's Arizona area, like the kind of colors that the Native Americans used, I think this would have been a whole lot different, like some turquoise brown, and I don't know, something. I don't know. I'd have to go look that stuff up again. I stayed in San Diego, California for about a year, and you would see a lot of this stuff, especially coming out of like Tijuana. And in fact, I had like a turquoise ring and that had some different colors in it when I was a teenager. So that's the image I have in my head for this. Something along those lines. I think it would look really, really super, super cool. But yeah, it's a fun bracelet. It didn't take terribly long, about an hour to make. Which for 12 strings, I think that's pretty good. I think usually it takes me a little bit longer, like hour and 10, hour and 15. So yeah, this went quick. Again, you see like the little pauses like that. So that could have been one of two things. That could either be A, having to stop and figure out where I am on the pattern, B, shifting the pattern upwards, or C, hitting play on either YouTube or, I don't know, Amazon or whatever, in case I'm watching something, because that's kind of a thing as well. So yeah, don't know why the pauses, but Still, even with those kind of things for distractions, only an hour to make it. Not bad. The outer string looks like it's super, super bright. It is just an orange that is bright. It's not the fluorescent ones. This isn't glowing in black lights or anything. It's just a nice bright orange. The darker color is a bit more of like a rusty brown ish kind of. It's still sort of in the orange area, just on the darker part of that part of the spectrum. And then the other one is a very light yellow. So trying to make like a triangle of colors that are all a contrast to each other. And I think that made this really turn out really, really well. So, hey, I mentioned this already, right? I make a mistake and then it works out a-okay for me. If you spot it, don't give it away for everybody else. Send me a message. I don't care, Instagram, wherever, and tell me what minute marker you think I did it at. I just really wonder if anybody's going to be eagle eye enough to actually spot it. Plus, it'll also mean that you watched this far into the video, so that means you're already kind of awesome. So yeah, just let me know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you get a shout out. Maybe you get a bracelet. So I don't know. But I was really curious if anybody can even spot it. Let's see. I don't. It's kind of hard to keep track of like where I'm at in the thing. I think I'm going into the middle. Okay. Let me thank my Patreon supporters as well as my YouTube members, because these videos end rather abruptly. And I think we're in the middle area there. So let's just get this out of the way. Guys, thank you again so much. The website renewal kind of has me a little bit concerned because if you do it for 1 year, yeah, that's kind of expensive, but it's cheaper if you do it for like 3 years, but then that's a lot of money. So every time this comes around, I get a little panicky, and it's hard to imagine that how I get through this. We'll see. So thank you guys. Thank you guys very, very much. And thank you for the floss, you know. I got an airplane trolley over here, chuck full of string, and I owe it all to you guys. And I really do appreciate it. And hey, I understand that there's a number of people watching this who cannot afford to pay, either for the YouTube membership or the Patreon. I get it. Just hitting like or subscribing, though, can actually help the channel in a big way, which, yeah, I mean, that's a bunch of... Leaving a comment is also a great way of showing some support, because with a comment, YouTube starts to think, wow, maybe I'll show this content to more people. So yeah, just little things can help is all I'm saying, So yeah, I really do appreciate that. So back to the bracelet. I think this is something that a beginner would actually be able to kind of pick up if they're trying to learn the third and fourth knot, which is the one that goes to the right and left, and the one that goes to the left and right. If that's where you're at in your bracelet learning journey, this might be a really good one for you. You're just going to have to find a way to know where you are in the pattern, because again, this pattern changes up so frequently that it would be really easy to get doing something that was either further ahead or that you've already done, which would lead to mistakes and really mess the whole thing up. So maybe perhaps print it out and use a piece of paper and just kind of mark off areas as you do it, or maybe you do it on your computer where you can cross off an area. Develop a system for yourself for doing something that gets a little bit more complicated. And yeah, this should be out no problem. If you're already a kind of a intermediate bracelet maker, you're going to have no trouble with this. Some of the rows, like this one where the brown comes all the way straight through, you're going to be able to use that to kind of gauge where you are in the pattern. You know that you just did that, and then you can kind of move along accordingly. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a lot of fun, and as long as you have like three strong contrasting colors, it's probably going to come out looking really, really good. Again, it's going to be up to your preferences. I can't tell you try it with this, and this, or it's entirely up to you. But I would like to see it. If you make one of these, and let's say you made it out, especially if you make it out of other colors, I would love to see it. You can send the picture over in Discord. The link is down in the description, or you can tag me over on Instagram. And yeah, because I would love to see what you guys come up with, because yeah, I really, it feels good to be, somebody's inspiration. And so if you do that, I will genuinely really appreciate it. I kind of, once again, have lost track as to where, okay, wait, no, I can recognize that one. So that's there. There's not terribly a whole lot left to go. Again, it changes up a lot because of the inner ones being every third and the outer one being second. So yeah, I can actually see that this is the part right here is up there, yeah, kind of in the middle. So we're into this little segment. Not much left. So hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. Sticking around this far in the video actually also helps the channel. So if you're still listening to this, give yourself a thumbs up, because that's super awesome. Is this another one? No, I was going to say, is that another one of the rows where it goes all the way? No, it is not. Oh, you can start to see, like down here, I start to get really good at the whole segmenting and doing a couple rows at a time. Because by this point, I'm starting to get used to the nature of the pattern and starting to see a bigger part of it, and it's starting to make more sense. And of course, that happens right before I'm finished with the whole thing. So a lot of good that did me early on. But hey, if you're watching this and you see how I do a couple rows and how that went, you could do that from the very beginning, and I bet you could probably get this down to even less than an hour to make it. So there you go. Yeah, this is really, really close to the end here, guys. So once again, I guess just thank you guys for hanging out with me. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.